We are in peak strawberry season now. Summertime outside, we've got sweet strawberries and they're in abundance. So I'm gonna make my strawberry galette for you now. So we start with 185 grams of plain flour into our food processor. I've got about 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. This gives a small rise to the pastry. I've got 125 grams of salted butter. So normally I would add a titch of salt into my pastry, but using salted butter, just one less thing for us to do. We want to form little breadcrumbs in this first process. So on with our lid, and we're just going to pulse this until we get fine breadcrumbs. The cream cheese will add a different texture into our pastry, and strawberries and cream cheese are a great combination. So a little bit of that in our pastry is a secret little addition. I'm going to do the same thing, pulse again until we have fine breadcrumbs. I'm going to go in with the cream while it's blending, just until the pastry comes together. I think we associate making pastry with hours in the kitchen and flour everywhere. It really is quite simple. Okay, all we need to do is turn out our pastry. I've got a little additional flour to go onto the board. This is just going to stop the pastry from sticking. Me and electronics. Our pastry, there's no egg in the pastry, you may have noticed. So our cream cheese and our cream is our moisture for this. All right, so just form a neat little kind of disc to go into the fridge. Just going to wrap this in some cling film now, just to stop it from drying out. All right, our neat little disc of cream cheese pastry. This needs an hour or 2 hours in the fridge just to rest the gluten that we've worked. You can make this up to 2 days before you need it. Now we need to get on to the filling for our strawberry galette. So of course we need strawberries. Grab yourself a little paring knife and just slice off the green tops. And then all we want to do is slice the strawberries into 3 or 4 kind of rough slices and pop them into a bowl. I'm just going to repeat that with the 2 punnets of strawberries. I'm going to flavour this with just some orange zest. You could use lemon zest, but I quite like orange and strawberries together. So you want about 2 teaspoons. I've got 80 grams of sugar. The sugar's going to help create almost like a strawberry jam in our galette. So 80 grams of sugar goes in, and I've also got just a tablespoon of corn flour. Pop all that into the bowl. Give that a toss through. That corn flour is going to help create kind of a sauce with those strawberries and the sugar and the orange as the galette cooks down. Right, I can set that aside. So I'm using just some almond meal. We're going to make an almond meal filling. I've got 50 grams of sugar, a tablespoon of plain flour, and a teaspoon of cinnamon. All right, we've got things lined up, ready to go. All we need to do now is to roll that pastry out. There's no measuring or trimming. It's a very kind of freehand tart, a bit free range like me sometimes. So that's why you want to start with a circle, and we will hopefully, when I roll this out, end up with a rough circle with some rough edges, and we basically just tip in everything and fold it in. Now, my recipe calls for a rolling pin. Do you think I have a rolling pin in my house at home? I've never owned one. I don't know why. I, for some reason, can always find a bottle of wine though. There's always one of them hanging around, and they make a great rolling pin. So, as I would at home, I can use my bottle of wine. And you want to roll this out till it's about 3 or 4 millimeters thick, or about 40 centimeters in diameter. Right, this is where we go free range. We just pretty much tip everything into the middle of the pastry. Okay, now I'm just going to fold in over the top of the strawberries. As neat or as messy as you like. I like to give a little pinch every inch or so. I've got the oven set at 200 degrees, so quite a hot oven. The galette will need about 40 minutes. Trust me, you'll know when it's ready. You can smell the sweet strawberries. Pastry will be golden brown. We'll come back when that's happened. The sweet smell of strawberries. Look at that. It's like a strawberry jam tart. I'm pretty happy with that pastry as well. I am not someone that makes pastry a lot. The only thing it needs is a good scoop of vanilla ice cream. Look at that classic combination. I've got a bad joke for you. What do you call a sad strawberry? A blueberry. Terrible, terrible joke. Fantastic tart.